Hello everyone, I'm Peak. Welcome to our channel. In the previous chapter, our main characters went their separate ways, and Jasin faced many challenges and decisions. What adventures await Jasin in Chapter 3? Will his abilities progress further? Let's dive into Chapter 3, The Doll Maker's First Trial. Otome Game Rebellion. The world is too real. Chapter 3, The Doll Maker's First Trial. Maple Leaf Town is a moderately sized town located on the eastern edge of the kingdom. The residents here are renowned for their woodworking skills, and the houses along the streets emit a strong scent of wood. As soon as Jasin stepped into the town, he was captivated by this unique atmosphere. The air was filled with the aroma of fresh bread and roasted meat, and the streets were bustling with people. Jasin strolled down the cobblestone streets, admiring the intricate wooden carvings on either side. He noticed that almost every shop sign was adorned with exquisite carvings, some depicting lifelike animals, while others featured complex geometric patterns. This reminded him of his past life making BJD dolls, bringing about a strange sense of familiarity. As the sun set, Jasin arrived at the town's most lively tavern, the Drunken Oak. Pushing open the heavy wooden door, he was immediately enveloped by a warm atmosphere. The tavern was packed with workers and merchants enjoying a drink after work, the air filled with laughter and the smell of malt beer. Jasin found a seat in a corner and ordered a local specialty stew and a cup of malt beer. While enjoying his meal, he kept his ears open, hoping to gather some information about this world from the surrounding diners. Before long, an interesting rumor caught his attention. "Did you hear? The Liternal Doll Workshop is haunted again," said a middle-aged man with a thick beard, speaking mysteriously. His cheeks were flushed from alcohol, and his eyes sparkled with excitement. "Come on, old Tom, stop with your ghost stories. That place has been abandoned for years, there's no way it's haunted," replied his companion, a tall young man, rolling his eyes. "I'm not joking," old Tom said excitedly, slamming the table with his hand, causing the beer mugs to jump. "Last night, I passed by and saw a doll move at the window. Those glass eyes were staring right at me, like they were going to suck my soul out." "You're just drunk," the young man sneered. "Next time, drink less and stop seeing things that don't exist. You young folks never believe us old-timers." Old Tom sighed. "Just wait until you see it for yourself, then you'll know I'm not lying." This conversation immediately piqued Jasin's interest. As someone with the ability to manipulate dolls, he instinctively felt there might be some connection to himself. He approached the table politely and asked, "Sorry to interrupt, I'm a traveler who just arrived in town. Could you tell me about this Eternal Doll Workshop? It sounds fascinating." Seeing someone interested in his story, old Tom immediately perked up. "Young man, you've come to the right place," he said enthusiastically. "Let me tell you about the most mysterious place in town." For the next hour, old Tom recounted various rumors about the Eternal Doll Workshop. According to him, the workshop was once the most famous doll-making place in the entire kingdom, run by Master Green, who could create dolls that seemed alive. However, 20 years ago, Master Green suddenly disappeared, and the workshop fell into disrepair. Yet, townsfolk often claim to see dolls moving on their own at night, sometimes hearing eerie laughter from within. After hearing these stories, Jasin was even more determined to investigate. He asked old Tom and the tavern owner for directions to the Eternal Doll Workshop. "Young man, I advise you not to go to such places," the owner warned kindly, a worried look on his face. "That place has been abandoned for years, the floor might be rotten and could collapse at any moment." And he lowered his voice. "It's said to be really haunted." Jasin thanked him politely but still decided to go. He felt an inexplicable pull, as if something was calling to him. The next evening, Jasin arrived at a secluded alley on the outskirts of the town. The alley was particularly eerie in the twilight. At the end of the alley stood an old wooden building, seeming out of place with its surroundings. A faded wooden sign hanging at the door faintly read Eternal Doll Workshop. Taking a deep breath, Jasin gathered his courage and pushed open the ancient-looking door. The door hinges screeched in protest, as if lamenting years of neglect. A mixture of wood, old books, and a hint of mildew filled the air, causing Jasin to wrinkle his nose. The interior was dimly lit, with only weak moonlight filtering through the broken windows. As his eyes adjusted to the darkness, the sight before him made him gasp. The entire workshop was filled with dolls. Some were seated on shelves, others hung on the walls, and still others lay on workbenches, as if awaiting final touches. These dolls were intricately crafted, some were lifelike, while others were bizarre and grotesque. In the dim light, their eyes seemed to glimmer, sending chills down one's spine. Cautiously, Jasin explored the workshop, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. His fingers gently brushed over each doll, feeling their smooth surfaces and intricate joints. As a former BJD maker, he couldn't help but admire the quality of these works. Suddenly, he noticed a particularly striking doll seeming to watch him. It was a girl doll in a luxurious dress, standing quietly in a corner. She had porcelain-like skin, golden hair, and most strikingly, deep blue gemstone eyes. As Jasin stared at it, something incredible happened. The doll's arm moved slightly. Startled, Jasin stepped back, heart pounding. But soon he realized this might be his subconscious ability at work. Taking a deep breath, he tried to concentrate. "Can you hear me?" Jasin asked softly, imagining the doll nodding in his mind. To his surprise, the doll really nodded slightly. Feeling a rush of excitement, Jasin further attempted to control the doll. Under his direction, the doll slowly raised its hand, pointing to a corner of the workshop. Following the doll's direction, Jasin noticed an ordinary-looking wooden box. As he approached, he felt a peculiar energy emanating from it. When he touched the box, the latch suddenly popped open. Inside was a yellowed notebook and a set of exquisite tools. Carefully, Jasin picked up the notebook and opened it to the first page, which read in elegant handwriting, "Green's Doll-Making Secrets." Eagerly, Jasin began to read. The notebook contained numerous secret techniques for making and controlling dolls. Some content he immediately understood, resonating with his past knowledge, while others were deep and required careful study. As Jasin immersed himself in the notebook, a sudden commotion outside broke his concentration. "Is someone in there?" a bold young man's voice called. I saw light inside. Only then did Jasin realize that, without him noticing, the candles in the workshop had lit up, casting a soft glow. He guessed this might also be an unconscious effect of his abilities. "Damn," Jasin muttered, "looks like I've attracted the townsfolk's attention." Knowing he had to face these people, Jasin took a deep breath and walked toward the door, ready for potential questions. Opening the door, he saw a crowd of townspeople gathered outside, some holding torches. Their expressions were a mix of curiosity, fear, and caution. "Good evening, everyone," Jasin said, trying to remain calm and smiling warmly. "I know my presence here might be surprising. I'm a traveling performer and heard about this interesting place, so I came to have a look." The crowd murmured among themselves. An elderly woman stepped forward, her silver hair shining in the moonlight, her face lined with the marks of a long life. "Young man," she said in a gentle yet firm tone, "don't you know this place is dangerous? It's been abandoned for years," and as she lowered her voice, "it's really haunted." Smiling, Jasin replied, "I understand your concerns. However, I found some very interesting things inside. If you don't mind, I can perform a small puppet show for everyone, to show the true magic of this place." The crowd was surprised, but soon their surprise turned into excited discussions. The children, especially, were thrilled, clamoring to see the performance. "All right," the elderly woman said, "but be careful. If anything strange happens, we'll stop immediately." Jasin nodded in agreement, then turned back into the workshop. Taking a deep breath, he focused, recalling the techniques he had just read about in the notebook. A few minutes later, Jasin reappeared at the door, followed by several small dolls. The townspeople gasped in amazement, some even stepping back in fear. "Please don't be afraid," Jasin reassured them. "Let's enjoy this little performance together." Under the moonlight, Jasin began his first doll show in this world. He made the small dolls dance gracefully in the air, their movements fluid and natural, as if they had come to life. The dolls performed a simple yet heartwarming story. A little girl lost her beloved toy, and with the help of a forest fairy, found it again. The audience was mesmerized, gasping in wonder. The children pointed excitedly, and the adults gradually lowered their guard, enchanted by the magical performance. When the show ended, applause erupted. The people were no longer afraid of the haunted place, instead, they were filled with curiosity and admiration for Jasin. "That was amazing," a little boy exclaimed excitedly. "How did you do that?" Smiling, Jasin replied, "It's an ancient art that requires a lot of practice and focus. Maybe one day, you too can become a great doll maker." As the crowd enthusiastically discussed the performance, Jasin noticed a hooded figure at the back. The person seemed particularly interested in Jasin's performance, their eyes gleaming with a strange light. As most of the townsfolk dispersed, the hooded figure remained. Slowly, he approached Jasin and removed his hood. The man appeared to be around 40, with deep brown eyes and slightly graying black hair. His face bore a gentle yet mysterious smile, his eyes shining with wisdom. "Hello, young man," he said in a deep, magnetic voice. "I'm Alan Green, the grandson of the original owner of this workshop. Your performance reminded me of my grandfather's legends." Jasin looked at Alan in surprise, his heart racing. "Mr. Green, nice to meet you. I'm Jasin, a traveling performer. Your grandfather must have been an incredible doll maker." Alan nodded, a hint of nostalgia in his eyes. "Indeed he was. However, I've never seen anyone control dolls as vividly as you do. Your ability is extraordinary." Cautiously, Jasin responded, "I just happened to find some of your grandfather's notes and practiced a bit." Alan looked thoughtfully at Jasin, then said, "Young man, I think your talent is more than just the result of practice. I have a friend who might help you better understand and develop your abilities." "Really?" Jasin asked curiously, "Who is your friend?" "His name is Dante, a very talented alchemist," Alan explained. "He studies all kinds of unusual abilities. I think your meeting could be quite interesting." Hearing the name Dante, Jasin felt a shock. He remembered this was an important character in the original game. "Sounds interesting," Jasin said cautiously, "but why should I trust you? After all, we just met." Alan smiled, "You're very cautious, which is good. How about this? I can show you the secret room in this workshop. There are some special works my grandfather left behind that might help you understand your abilities better. Then you can decide whether to meet Dante." After considering for a moment, Jasin nodded in agreement. Alan led him through the workshop to an ordinary-looking wooden wall. Pressing a hidden mechanism, the wall slid open silently, revealing a secret room. The room was filled with exquisitely crafted dolls, each so lifelike it seemed ready to come alive. Jasin was amazed, feeling the powerful magic contained within these dolls. "These are my grandfather's proudest works," Alan explained. "He infused them with the essence of life. I believe, with your talent, you can achieve even more." Taking a deep breath, Jasin felt a peculiar resonance. He reached out and gently touched one of the dolls. Suddenly, all the dolls in the room trembled slightly, as if responding to his touch. Alan watched in astonishment. "Incredible! I've never seen anything like this. Young man, your potential far exceeds my expectations." Jasin was also startled by his own ability. He realized there was much more to learn and explore. "Mr. Green," Jasin turned to Alan, "can your friend Dante really help me understand this ability?" Alan thought for a moment, then said, "Dante has indeed studied many unusual abilities. However, he's currently conducting an important alchemy experiment and might not be able to see you right away." He paused before continuing, "How about this? I can teach you some basic knowledge first. Once your ability stabilizes, we can arrange for you to meet Dante." "How does that sound?" Nodding, Jasin agreed, "That sounds like a good idea. I do need time to familiarize myself with this ability." Alan smiled appreciatively. "Excellent. Starting tomorrow, we'll train here in this workshop. Surrounded by my grandfather's works, I believe you'll progress quickly." Grateful, Jasin said, "Thank you, Mr. Green. I will work hard." That night, he returned to the inn, lying in bed unable to sleep for a long time. He reflected on the day's events, contemplating his abilities and the upcoming training. He had a vague feeling that his adventure was just beginning, with greater challenges and opportunities ahead. With these thoughts, Jasin finally fell into a deep sleep, dreaming of dancing dolls and a mysterious magical world. Thank you all for watching Chapter 3, The Doll Maker's First Trial. As Jasin's adventure unfolds, he will encounter even more challenges and surprises. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to receive updates on the latest chapters. Your support is our greatest motivation. See you next time.